The Circuit of the Americas, my favourite racetrack in America. That might be a controversial opinion because it's also one of my favourite tracks of the year, but let's do my predictions for the 2024 US Grand Prix. So, biggest good surprise, I'm going to go for Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton is so good around this track, I just genuinely think he'll have a good weekend, and I'll just go through some of his track history at this circuit to prove it. Hamilton finished second last year in the sprint and the race and qualified P3 in both of them, whilst his teammate was 2 or 3 tenths behind, depending on the shootout or the main qualifying session itself, and that teammate is George Russell. I can see Hamilton actually managing to beat his teammate at this track, so yeah, anyway, biggest flop, I'm going for Liam Lawson. Now, there's all this expectation on Liam Lawson that he's going to do really well, obviously, because Daniel Ricciardo was axed following the Singapore Grand Prix. I think Liam Lawson is going to do a pretty decent job, in my opinion. I think he's going to be a decent driver over the next couple of races, but I don't see him doing that well. A couple of cases in hand, he's got a 10-place grid penalty for the sprint, has Liam Lawson, so that's not going to be that good. And as for the race itself, Liam Lawson hasn't drove this car much this year. So, I don't see him doing a particularly brilliant job. Yes, he's had experience in Formula 1 before. Obviously, he drove last year for AlphaTauri. He hasn't really had an opportunity to shine this year so far. Then we have split pole position, and I'm going for Lando Norris. I do think Norris is going to have a decent weekend, but I just don't see him winning everything. I think McLaren will be strong, but I also see Mercedes being just as strong at the circuit, so spoilers on who's going to win this race. I think Lando Norris is going to take sprint pole position, though, because generally, on average, he's pretty good at this format. He managed to get a good qualifying last year, so let's see what he can do this year. And I'm going for Lewis Hamilton is going to win the sprint. Now, I think Lando Norris is going to bottle the start, and Hamilton will take the lead. Here's why I think that, because normally if you start second, you take the lead. Just like last year, Lando Norris started second and took the lead from Charles Leclerc. In 2022, Sainz was on pole, Verstappen was alongside him, and Verstappen took the lead. And there's many, many more examples, including 2021, where Max Verstappen and Hamilton went wheel to wheel at the first corner. Then we go pole position. I'm going for Lewis Hamilton. Now, I'm not so sure about this one. Lewis Hamilton in one lap in 2024 just don't seem to get on that well. I was going to go for Hamilton for sprint pole, but I decided I'll go for Hamilton for one and Norris for the other. So it could be vice versa, or Norris could take both. Hamilton is so strong at this circuit, but even at tracks like Silverstone, it's not a track where he outqualified Russell. Hungary he did, and Spa and Japan, all of his best tracks at qualifying, so you never know. Then for third place, I'm going for Max Verstappen, and people will be like, oh, well, Max Verstappen is bad, but Verstappen is also very good at this circuit. Case in point, he's won the last 3 races in a row at this circuit, but yes, you could say, oh, well, he's had the best car. Max Verstappen had to fight for the win in every single one of them. He's just so good at this circuit in general. In 2019, he was also decent as he scored a podium for Red Bull. And he's 2018, remember, he was fighting for the win with Kimi Raikkonen and finished in second. So Verstappen has some strong form at the circuit. In second, I'm going to go for Lando Norris. I think Norris will just be a bit meh this weekend. I think Norris is the pressure off the championship, and I think it's starting to come to him, and it's clearly starting to show. He has not had a perfect weekend all year round. Case in point, Singapore he dominated, but he nearly crashed out of the race, pushing far too hard. So yeah, Norris finished second here last year, or finished third, but was promoted up to second. So he has form at the circuit too. And of course, he did fight for the win. I think Norris would be very competitive, but I think Lewis Hamilton is going to win. And that might be me being delusional, but I just think this is going to be Lewis Hamilton's last win with Mercedes at one of his best tracks. In 2012, should I say, with McLaren, Lewis Hamilton won. In 2024, can Hamilton do it 12 years later yet again? Now, Hamilton hasn't won at the circuit since 2017, which is a shock fact, but it's absolutely true. But he's always been on the podium, even when he hasn't. Like last year, he was on the podium even when he didn't finish in second, thanks to that disqualification. So yeah, I think Lewis Hamilton will win the US Grand Prix. But there's a couple of factors that could stand in his way. I do think McLaren are going to be pretty strong. I just don't see Oscar Piastri doing particularly well. He didn't go well at all during this leg of the calendar last year in USA and Mexico and Sao Paulo for Oscar Piastri. He had a really tough run of form in all of them. In Mexico, Norris started practically last and still got ahead of him. So I don't think Piastri will be a threat, but I think Hamilton will really do really well this weekend. But this is just my predictions, so let me know your predictions down in the comment section below. And if you are new to this channel, consider clicking that subscribe button for all the F1 analysis and classic race highlights. So yeah, this is the US Grand Prix, and let's hope it delivers. Thanks so much for watching.